frames out of your terminal radars, but the difference with them is that hey. Hey, Chris, it just randomly said stream finished. Did it kick me off automatically?
It kicked you off?
I think so. It went to stream finished, and I'm like, huh. So I don't know if maybe they programmed something else to go. It's done, right? We're not on? Is this the one you pulled up? I guess. Are we still live? This would be very awkward if we're still live. No, it's done.
I guess it's just
Man,
back for 30 minutes.
Maybe. Should we go back on?
You definitely can, I think. You might have to, do it.
Like do that. I just don't even know how to.
If you go new stream.
No stream.
And then basically what will happen is,
It says live now.
schedule stream, but you can copy that, reuse the settings. Yeah, and then hit next.
Cool.
Click live chat. And next. And public.
Ooh,
Yeah, 550 is fine. And then you'll just hit go live when it pops up here. Why is it not? Okay, it's just doing that.
Yeah. All right, let's just go back in. See if it works. All right, hello, hello, hello. All right, we had a little hiccup there with the stream, but hopefully it's rolling through now. So we are tracking live here and we're trying something new. We are tracking live radar for you and some of the storms that are coming across the DC region as we speak. So some of you were asking some questions, and it'll probably take a minute for folks to pop back in. But I was answering some questions folks had about radar and how often it's updating and everything as it was coming across. So apologize that the stream came down for a moment here, but this is our first time, so we're still kind of working out the kinks a little bit here. So I will introduce myself again. Hi, I'm Mike Thomas. I'm one of the evening meteorologists here at Fox 5. And the goal of this, and kind of going forward, and this should get smoother and smoother as we do it more, but the goal of this is we want to be able to be here for you when you're looking for weather information. And we know on a day like today, when there's multiple flash flood warnings out there, severe thunderstorm warnings out there, you're probably looking for where you can go for live information on our local weather here in the DC region. From Ocean City back through West Virginia, we want to have everybody covered. So that's the goal of these streams. Again, we were on stream. We had a little hiccup, and that stream went down, so we got another one up for you. So we're going to get back to it and show you some of the info and some of the stuff that's coming around right now. We got a great shot at the moment, and I'll pull it up, of the National Harbor, and how's that for a sky with those storm clouds looming coming through Montgomery County heading towards DC, and you can really see it on that camera, some of the leading low clouds coming in and the rainfall behind it. Now I got another cool shot because we have access to lots of cool things here. This is Capitol Dome, and you can see the dark skies moving in over the Capitol, flags blowing in the wind. Stormy day here in DC, no doubt about it. Now, the good news is once we get through this stormy day, the payoff is going to be fantastic. Not really tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to feel much better. Temps in the 70s all day tomorrow. It just won't look pretty. We're going to have a lot of clouds. There could be a little bit of drizzle around. But you know what? Compared to the heat and the stuff we've been stuck in here in Washington, and look, it's summer in DC. It's supposed to be hot. It's supposed to be humid. It often is. But I will be very, very overjoyed to have a break heading into the weekend. And Saturday and Sunday look absolutely fantastic. Not cool. I mean, it's in the 80s, so it's still warm. But low humidity, and like in the evenings, you'll be able to open your windows because it'll be drier air and just cooler temperatures. Very nice stuff as we get ready for a nice weekend. And we're bringing in August. I mean, it's hard to believe that this is the last day of July already. All right, let's go in. Storm Tracker Radar. We'll get back to it. For folks who are watching with me, welcome back. Sorry we had a little delay, a little hiccup there, but we are back with you as we track the weather moving through D.C. We'll go over the Storm Tracker Radar. So this is the radar coming out of Sterling, Virginia here. And in fact, if you're ever on a radar and you're tracking something, I filled it in here with our little radar bubble, but that hole in the radar screen you see right there is where the radar is located. And if you go in like close enough, which will be hard to see under all the stuff, but it's right near Dulles. Dulles Airport's kind of down here. And it's right near there is where they have our primary radar here in the D.C. region. So good news is no severe thunderstorm warnings here near the D.C. area. Those have all been dropped. Most recently, there was one in Loudoun County and one in Montgomery County. Those both expired, about 25 minutes ago at 5:30. More good news. I expect that once this round gets through, which is still heavy, it may not be severe, but there's heavy pockets of rain coming through western portions of Fairfax County, southern portion of Montgomery again, where we have had several rounds of today of some rough weather that's led to flash flood warnings in parts of the D.C. region. But once this round gets through, I expect it'll be much quieter for the remainder of the night. Not that we couldn't pop a shower, but in terms of severe weather, in terms of the flooding risk, that should all start going down very quick after this next round comes through the immediate D.C. area here. So good news, hang in there with us, and things will get much better. Again, I was chatting with a few people in the old video. Since that video came down, feel free, the chat's blank at the moment. If you want to ask a question, if you want to leave a comment, you want to tell me this is awesome, or you want to tell me that this sucks, either way, I am all here for you and happy to do it. For folks, and something that we don't get to cover as much as I'd like on Fox 5, because Fox 5's viewing area, and TV's kind of weird, but Fox 5's viewing area kind of goes from West Virginia out here and technically kind of ends like it's sort of like that. And then this is all supposed to be Baltimore's TV zone, believe it or not. So when severe thunderstorms go over on the eastern shore, a lot of times we focus on the storms that remain kind of D.C. and areas to the west. But here on the YouTube, I can focus on other storms for folks that I know, because my parents have a place out in Bethany Beach, which is here, and they are able to watch Fox 5 out there because I know our signal goes all the way out that way. And now, of course, we got apps and everything that lets you watch from wherever you want. But I know we have viewers here on the Eastern Shore who ask me all the time, hey, won't you stay on and cover for us? And the honest truth is I'd like to, but on TV we have certain rules and regulations, and sometimes I can't. The good news is I can do that for you now. And certainly the worst storm on radar right now, as we're getting ready to start the 6 o'clock hour, is this cell down near Cambridge in the lower Eastern Shore. So for folks there, I mean, that is certainly a heavy cell. Go in on it a little closer here, clear off the screen for me. Plenty of lightning. I mean, if you ever watch us live on TV and we're tracking storms, up here in the corner, you can see it. I always track the lightning strikes. And this is lightning within the last 15 minutes. So if you ever wonder what that number means on TV, that's lightning strikes that we've tracked within the last 15 minutes. So, and it's whatever you see on your screen. So out of primarily this storm that's going through Dorchester County, 320 lightning strikes in the last 15 minutes. Now you are getting a little bit down here as well, which is southern portions of the county outside the warning zone. But that's a lot of lightning. Certainly our heaviest lightning cell of the moment out there, or storm with the heaviest concentration of lightning, I could say, working its way through Dorchester County. For folks there, that warning goes until 6 o'clock, so another 3 minutes on that severe thunderstorm warning out in Dorchester County. But even once it expires, excuse me, I wouldn't be shocked if they extend it. First off, just because that is heavy. Now, before I say that, I should probably check out the velocity, because they don't do it just for lightning, they do it for winds. And you know what? They may not extend it, because at the moment, at least off the radar out of Dover, as I scroll it on through, I don't see anything there that would indicate severe winds, at least not as I'm glancing at it. So they may decide not to extend that warning, but certainly is a heavy cell, no doubt about it, coming right through there. And it's pushing its way eastward. That one's moving a little bit more than some of the previous cells have been, so haven't seen any flash flooding concerns mentioned out of that cell just yet. But what I will mention, as we'll kind of go back and forth on radar here, is notice you have a cell coming out of St. Mary's County, and these are probably going to join up. So this cell kind of here and this cell here are probably going to meet. So folks in southern Dorchester County there, you're not under the warning right now, but I would expect that these two cells are going to kind of combine, and that folks who live in this region, that radar is probably going to fill in rather fast. So heads up for folks in that zone. I think that as this cell comes out of Calvert, crosses the bay, meets up with it, and what do we get? See, sometimes that happens, and then I feel good about myself. So that's exactly what's going to happen. So that zone I just circled for you just got put under a new severe thunderstorm warning. I believe that's still primarily Dorchester. It looks like it does expand a little bit farther east into, and clear that off real quick. It does go into Wincomco County. Wincomco. Names aren't exactly the easiest thing all the time. I'm a scientist, not a grammar guy, but I try. But yeah, so this cell coming out of Calvert and this one coming from the north, combining, and now they've prompted that warning there. So that's the kind of coverage you can get here on YouTube is, watching that, and I think that could happen, and indeed it does. So new warning there, and what time did I say it goes to? 7 probably? Yeah, 7 o'clock on that severe thunderstorm warning there for Dorchester and eventually Wincomco County. Wincomco? Folks, if you live there, I'm so sorry. But that other county near Salisbury, Wincomco County. Back to D.C. So far, no severe thunderstorm warnings or anything like that closer to home here. Certainly heavy downpours, and they've extended a little bit farther south. So parts of Prince William County, I mentioned Manassas earlier was going to get hit. Manassas now getting hit with some rainfall. City of Fairfax, it's on your doorstep. If it's not already raining, it will be very shortly. And then outside of our studios here in Bethesda, so, in this general area, I'm seeing some heavy downpours as well. Some lightning mixed in here. You see 27 strikes on my screen in the last 15 minutes. That's not a lot, to be completely honest with you. But we are tracking some of this rain as it moves across the D.C. region here. This should be, and let's go over, I have Futurecast queued up. So the latest run of Futurecast suggesting that once this line gets on through, this should generally be it. You do see a little bit more blue, a little bit more green there. Some pop-up showers up near Hagerstown early morning. Could be some rain showers early, but that should be more run-of-the-mill. Not really worried about severe, not really worried about flooding at that point. So I'll reiterate, once this line comes through, and I'll replay it here for folks who want to see another one of the timing. Once this line comes through out of Montgomery, Fairfax County, should push eastward in the Prince George's, and beyond that point, probably going to run into some of that cooler air from the earlier storms from Baltimore, which should help it kind of fizzle out as it approaches and gets east of the bay. So this really should be the last round coming through the D.C. area. Sky cams for you. Still looking a little gloomy there at the U.S. Capitol. Certainly see the flags blowing in the wind. No rain has reached the Capitol building just yet, but at least not from the current round we're tracking. Certainly was earlier today. But at the moment, things are okay downtown, but those gloomy skies showing you that, some weather is certainly on the way, no doubt about it. Let's go back over the radar for you, and there's the big picture. You can certainly see these two cells combining, as we talked about, on the lower end of the eastern shore near the Maryland-Delaware border. Heads up, folks in Salisbury, still probably 30 minutes or so away from you, but the storms are heading in your general direction. I don't believe you've been hit that hard just yet. And then for folks watching from the beaches, still a little bit of time for you all out there, but I might start getting the beach gear together and working your way inland if you haven't done that already, as you're likely going to get some rain and thunderstorms later on in the evening. So we'll go in here. Storm tracker radar give you a closer view of DC. Some heavy pockets within this line, but you can sort of see you got dry air mixing in here on the backside that's starting to kind of disintegrate the precipitation field a little bit, but it's on the leading edge when you do have some heavier downpours. Central Prince William and central southern Fairfax County seeing some heavy downpours, and just south of the 270 spur near us here in Bethesda. Seeing some of the heaviest downpours out of that. Nothing is severe warned near DC. We do have earlier flash flood and standard flood warnings. This one, this darker green, down in down in southern central Fairfax County. Essentially what that means is rivers and streams are running high, and they do have rain gauges down there, or stream gauges, suggesting that that the rivers and streams are at flood stage in some areas, but they don't have reports of what we call flash flooding anymore, which is rapidly rising waters, things that can, you know, get you trapped on the roadways and things like that. But still want folks to use caution there. This one in southern Montgomery remains a flash flood warning. That yellow box that you see around this one means that flash flooding has been reported. And I know in a few areas they did have reports of covered roadways and the like from some water going across. So that's the one warning we have near DC. Goes till 6:45 for that, what they call a considerable flash flood warning, which is just a fancy way of saying that they do have active reports of flash flooding in that region. Now, thankfully, once this rain gets on through, things should settle down. And the rain that's coming through right now, not nearly as heavy as the rain that came through before. So not that this will instantly make things better, but I don't expect that the rain, even though it is quite heavy here in Bethesda, it's just not going to last as long. This little batch right over us is going to work its way off to the east pretty steadily. Now, out ahead of it, if you're on the eastern edge of the Beltway, you do see a couple of leading cells starting to fire a bit, localized, but certainly heavy downpours out ahead of the main line. It's actually also a sign that this main line should start to disintegrate more and more as it goes eastward, because essentially what's happening is the storm is kicking out its own outflow. So colder air is leading the storm, which means that this part of the storm is now trapped within its own pool of cold air. And that's heavy. It's hard for a storm to lift up colder air versus warm and humid air. So storm-cooled air can kind of exhaust the strength of a thunderstorm, if you will. So I would expect that this precipitation field, as it continues to push eastward, is going to break up. Now, along the leading edge of that outflow, you could see more of these little heavy downpours pop up. And that would be the best potential for, you know, you could get those that come together, and then you get a new line of storms. As this one dies, a new one forms over portions of kind of central Maryland, Prince George's County, Anne Arundel, and northern Charles. We'll see if that happens. They have already had a couple rounds in that area, so the air not as unstable as it was earlier today. But that potential does exist as these storms continue their journey eastward. Otherwise, temperatures mostly starting to fall back into the 70s in a lot of these areas as it is rain-cooled from these storms earlier in the day. Humidity has not followed suit yet, but that is what we're all excited for. Humidity will follow suit as we head into the evening hours tonight and the overnight hours. It'll be a slow fall in terms of that humidity. You're really going to notice it more Friday night into Saturday compared to tomorrow. But the thing you'll certainly notice in terms of air temperatures tomorrow is just how much cooler it will be. Highs tomorrow in many places will not make it out of the 70s, which is something we haven't done around here. I want to say since earlier in June, or maybe later. I think we had a 75-degree day with a cloudy, dreary day, kind of mid to late June. But certainly coolest weather in a few weeks here in D.C. So, to update you, we have had numerous reports from both Baltimore and Montgomery County of flash flooding today. It doesn't look as bad to me as what happened a few weeks ago, and certainly compared to what happened a couple Sundays ago, or Saturdays ago, excuse me, here in D.C. No flash flood emergencies have been issued this afternoon, which is always a good thing, but there certainly have been some heavy flash flood warnings that have been out there. Primarily, I think the worst of it today has been up near Baltimore, where a line of storms just developed and just sort of hung out for an hour or two and dropped a tremendous amount of rain up that way. I believe I can get rainfall estimates. Let's go over the rain vision here. And yeah, you can kind of see the area. So this is rainfall estimates within the last 24 hours. And you can see the areas that have been of greatest concern today, just north of D.C., where there have been estimates of 3 to 4 inches of rain. That red kind of blob leading up to North Bethesda here along 190, I believe that's River Road. But through McAldrey Park there, Potomac Falls, this red corresponds to 3 to 5 inches. And I think based on the reports I've seen in there, or at least radar estimated reports, 3 to 4 inches has been estimated to have fallen in that area so far. And they've got more rain falling as we speak. And then up here in Baltimore has been where it's been at its most widespread, particularly this area. And it was up that way that where there was a confirmed water spout somewhere just south of Abington there. A confirmed water spout was seen earlier this afternoon. That was the closest that the D.C. area had to a tornado warning earlier today. But thankfully, so far, no other warnings have been issued in that regard. And speaking of warnings, as we look at storm tracker radar with the warnings overlaid, no severe thunderstorm warnings near D.C., but they did have this one that we were tracking down on the lower eastern shore here. And this is certainly the worst storm that's out there on our radar screens right now. Dorchester County getting into, and excuse me again, if this is your county and I'm about to ruin it, Wicomico County, Maryland. Severe thunderstorm warning until 7 o'clock. Salisbury, you're not in it yet, but for folks out that way, yeah, these storms are heading right in your direction. So heads up for folks there. Probably within the next hour, they'll be working their way into downtown Salisbury with a lot of lightning. Look at the strikes. And kind of gives you an idea. When storms merge, they can definitely, at least briefly, get really intense as their two updrafts come together and essentially form an even stronger updraft. And that updraft leads to a lot of collisions of ice particles and hail particles within the storm itself, and that helps create your static charge that gets you this. I mean, almost 500 strikes in the last 15 minutes. That's a tremendous amount of lightning out of one cell down there in southern portions of Maryland. So heads up for folks there. Eventually, it'll all head out towards the beaches, but so far we have not seen that, seen the beaches get hit too hard, at least not just yet. Closer to home here in D.C., heaviest parts of this cell are in eastern Howard, Columbia, Jessup area, getting hit a little hard there. Bethesda area getting hit with some heavy rain. I'm looking out our windows here at Fox 5, and it looks misty outside, which tells me it's actually raining kind of hard because I'm quite a way away from the windows here. And then down south across central portions of Prince William County, just came through Manassas. Heavier downpours working their way towards the Potomac River. Nothing severe, and you do see that the heaviest portions of the storm are kind of getting separated more and more. So a sign that the cold air that's being outputted by the storm is sort of doing damage to the storm itself. They essentially self-destruct when they sort of get into this mode. And then you just have to watch and see if that cold air that's getting kicked out by the storm is able to trigger new storms out in front, like central portions or northern portions. Try this again. Central northern portions of Prince George's County you're seeing right there. That little cell popped up right over Lanham, heading over towards Bowie, Woodmore, heavier shower. Not even seeing any lightning out of this particular batch at the time, but it could grow a little bit as it works its way eastward here. Central portions of Fairfax County, including downtown Fairfax right there south of Oakton, getting hit pretty heavy with a decent storm, but not even reporting any lightning strikes at the moment, which is a sign of weakening in and of itself. So some good news there. And then central portions of Prince William County just came through Brentsville. Dale City, if this holds together, which it likely will. If I rewind the radar here, you can see this is sort of towards the southern edge. So you can, if you, it is hard to see, but if you connect these little thin green things here, that's the storm outflow, the initial push of it. And you can see how this storm here fired along that outflow. See how there was nothing there. Outflow came, it hit unstable air, made it go skyward, and you get that storm to develop right there. So folks in Dale City, worst of it's going to follow the outflow, so that'll probably come south, but you're likely going to get clipped with a little bit of rain there in Dale City as the storm works its way a little closer to you. So just a little heads up for folks down that way that, yeah, downpour at least coming in. Not a lot of lightning near DC. That 377 you see, all primarily from this cell in Dorchester County, heading over towards Wicomico County there in Maryland. But primarily around DC, not looking bad right now. I got to be completely honest with you. Certainly showery, certainly not the sunshine that we had for most of this week, but nothing on that radar screen at the moment is jumping out to me like, hey, you know, heads up, this could get bad really quickly. In fact, I think it's more of a sign of the beginning of the end of things being overly concerning here if you're west of the Chesapeake Bay. And I wouldn't be shocked, they won't do it yet, but I wouldn't be shocked if in a little bit. In fact, okay, they already have done a little bit. So they've dropped the severe thunderstorm warning from a lot of zones out to our west. They're likely, once this last line gets through us here in D.C., I would say that they're likely going to trim everybody west of the bay not too long from now, within a couple. I don't think this thing stands until 8 o'clock here in Washington. Let's see if they've adjusted this. And they've also adjusted the flood watch. Not as much, but I would expect this is up until 2 in the morning. I would expect that they're going to allow this to drop well before midnight tonight. I think things are going to settle up. And you can see why I think that based on the modeling. Futurecast, or the HER, did a pretty good job. And if you don't know, HER is just, we have many models we look at. HER stands for High Resolution Rapid Refresh. The reason why it's a popular one on days like today is because it updates every hour and kind of tries to take into account the storms that are out there. So we can give you a decent idea of what to expect here. And it does show that once we get beyond the 7 o'clock hour, activity really winds down in terms of intensity and severity. Still see, and you can still see, frontal boundary is going to be stuck to the north for a little bit. And because of that, you can still get more showers. You can even get a thunderstorm or two, but I think showers will be the primary threat as we head into the late evening hours and right through most of the day tomorrow, pop-up hit-and-miss showers. But in terms of severe weather, I don't want to say we're done here in D.C. and then have something pop up and bite me in the butt. But nothing on radar screen at the moment strikes me as, hey, you know, we have more coming, or, you know, this could go severe at any moment. The one cell that did that was down in southern Maryland, and we were able to say, hey, heads up, they're probably going to extend this, and they did extend it. Even though that's probably... They likely did that preemptively because you had two storms colliding down there. Let's go in, leave DC alone for a minute. Let's go over to the severe warned cell here south of Cambridge. Vienna getting hit rather hard, not Vienna, Virginia, Vienna, Maryland there on the eastern shore. And we'll pop in on velocity here and see. I mean, I know it's severe warned, and they likely did it because you had two cells colliding, but I don't see anything on velocity that indicates you had this batch here that as it crossed the bay probably had some gusty winds working up towards Buckystown. That was my attempt to draw an arrow, which was bad. But that's long since faded. Now, you are pretty far from the radar site here, but there's nothing on velocity here that jumps out to me. I see a lot of, you know, small downbursts, but no severe downbursts within that zone, at least not now. They probably did that more out of precaution than anything else in this area. I think I have the velocity overlay, so you can see the warning zone. But as I look at the velocity readings that we're getting, you know, 36, 27, 15, 18. So in the zone, I'm not seeing severe thunderstorm warning. You generally need 55 or above, or 57 or above, I think, to qualify as a severe thunderstorm. So I'm not seeing anything, at least on the radar, out of Dover that indicates that there's any sort of severe winds coming out of that storm. But it was likely done because of the fact that you had two cells colliding. You had this one coming in from the north and west, and you had this one coming out of the south and east. They are colliding right over Dorchester County, right near Buckstown there. And that can sometimes, as those two updrafts combine, aside from just a tremendous amount of lightning and a lot of very heavy rain, you can sometimes get a quick downburst there that can do damage. So that's likely what they were thinking there, and why the severe thunderstorm warning is up. That severe thunderstorm warning there goes until 7 o'clock tonight. We'll go back in. I'm going to have to leave everybody in about 5 minutes because I will have to go do the 6:30 to 7 o'clock news out for us here on the Fox 5. But just to give you an idea of what this even was, this is our idea of what we want more for the future, is when severe weather is active and happening, we want to have some sort of live stream going 24/7 where we can update you guys and let you know what we're seeing on radar, what we think's going to happen, give you the latest updates from the National Weather Service, because we get them fast, and sometimes we can get them fastest to you this way, as opposed to the alerts on TV. The way TV rules work is, unless it's a major severe issue, like a catastrophic severe thunderstorm warning, flash flood emergency, tornado warning, we're not typically going to be able to break into coverage. But we know folks like their weather, and we want to be able to get you your weather when you want it. So radar discussions are always super helpful. As mentioned a few times now, I think the worst is past. It's the honest truth here in D.C. I'm not going to try and make something out of nothing here. Heaviest storm certainly earlier today, but the fact they fired so early likely helped make these rounds here this evening not quite as intense. Again, when you have a thunderstorm early in the day, it helps cool the atmosphere down a bit, stabilizes it a little bit, and I guess we're thankful in that regard, but the damage was done. I don't want to act like it was a quieter day than expected, because it was exactly what we were expecting, with 2 flash flood warnings still out there. The flash flood warnings with those yellow boxes around them are what they call considerable flash flood warnings. We have one in northern Howard, southern Carroll, going through Baltimore and northern Baltimore, or central Baltimore County. These are areas where flash flooding has been actively reported, either roads being covered. I haven't seen anything about water rescues yet. Sometimes we get that information in much later in the evening. But generally, if emergency management or emergency services are reporting active flash flood emergencies going on, they will put this yellow box around, which is what they call considerable flash flood warning, which just means they have active reports on the ground, or they have active gauge reports showing that flash flooding is ongoing in parts of the DC area. That's all we have here at this time, with the good news being that the radar screen that is out there is not showing things too heavy or adding to the chaos of the flash flood. Now, rain coming down, sure, absolutely, but it's not coming down at a rate that the ground can't handle at this point. And it's not coming down at a rate that would cause rivers and streams to rise rapidly, and it is fading. I'll loop the radar for you. We'll do an hour loop, and you can see there's a lot more oranges and reds when it was out to the west, and as it's worked its way eastward towards D.C., it has gotten much weaker out there. And we do have cameras down this National Harbor looking into D.C. Certainly gloomy looking skies, but I wouldn't say that's the most epic thunderstorm in the world out that way at National Harbor. In fact, not even raining right now. You're looking up into the storm, and the flags are blowing in the breezes there, which the outflows already come through National Harbor. And very shortly, it will likely be raining in National Harbor, but not seeing a lot of lightning. And I don't see anything that's overly concerning. Of course, I'm just going to say take shelter until the storm goes by to be safe, but not seeing anything that's overly concerning there in terms of severe weather heading for Prince George's County or parts in northern Calvert County there, because they'll be the next ones up that get these storms as they come across. But currently, I'll pause it on the latest frame here, and currently crossing into Prince George's County out of D.C. Certainly some heavier pockets mixed in here, and one lightning strike. Excuse me, one lightning strike reported within the last 15 minutes. Now up to 4 lightning strikes reported in the last 15 minutes on my radar screen here. Down to the south into eastern portions of Fairfax County, Mount Vernon. Certainly dark skies, some raindrops coming down there. Dale City mentioned that you guys would likely get the tail end of the storm as it works its way down to the south and east. Now, thankfully, even that, as I go through, you can see when it was over Brentsville a little bit ago, it was a little bit more intense, and now it's rapidly starting to weaken a little bit there. So good news for you there. So that was at about 6:05 over Brentsville, and now as it approaches Dale City. Starting the week, and you're starting to get this stuff kicking up out ahead, which suggests that the storm's going to continue to weaken as it works its way to the east here. Southern Maryland, I haven't seen too many reports down here today of too much trouble. So Charles County, you might have dodged the worst of it down that way. Earlier, of course, there were some storms nearby, but didn't see anything overly severe down that way. And then for folks down in St. Mary's, they did have a doozy of a storm there that's now pushed itself onto the eastern shore. You see it kind of getting a little bit of a bow echo there as it works its way onto the farther into Dorchester County, but that's likely just two storms colliding. That's the only warning we have out there right now. And again, I think we're closer to the end certainly than the beginning here in the DC region. We'll take one more look at that future cast for you, because we should have gotten a new run-in very shortly ago. That is continuing to show things just kind of dying down. Doesn't have much. It's got a couple of showers popping up over southern Maryland, but nothing too crazy. I do think that here in DC, those skies look, as you can see, rather ominous, that I do think the worst has passed here in Washington. So, all right, I'm going to wrap this up here because I do have to go get ready for our 6:30 half hour of news. Again, this was sort of a trial run. We want to be doing this more in the future where, again, on a very active day, we had that day weeks ago where there were like 12 tornado warnings, and it was hard to cover all of them on TV. But we would love to be able to sit on radar with you, and, you know, Caitlin and I can look into storms a lot and say, you know what, we think that one's going to get a tornado warning. We can't do it on air because we're not always on air until the warning goes up. But we can sit here on Fox Local, we can sit here on YouTube, and we can give you those latest warnings as we see them happening. So I'm going to wrap it up here, 6:24. So I will be heading in to do the 6:30 half hour of news here. And we hope you like this. And give us your feedback and let us know how we can make it better. And we're going to continue to do this more and more into the future as the weather remains active here. We got hurricane season coming up. It's currently hurricane season, but you know, it really ramps up during the month of late August and through the month of September as well. And then winter weather around the corner, we hope, this coming winter too. That would be fun to track live with you guys. So that's our idea. I'll send you out a picture of National Harbor, storms moving in, and we'll get you one more quick look at the radar screen as well before I sign off for the evening here. And don't forget, coming up later on tonight, we have Do You Like It or Not, which our own producer Chris does so wonderfully, where you can give your opinion on, say, this YouTube channel or any of the fun stories of the day. So make sure you're tuning in and having fun with him. There's that live look of radar for you here. And you can see that storms continue to kind of weaken as they move through the D.C. area. I think the worst of the weather's done. And get ready for a very nice weekend. Tomorrow's not going to be nice. It'll be cloudy, but get ready for a much nicer weekend once some drier air moves in. Enjoy, guys. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon on Fox 5.